Hi, I'm Bria.
Hey, I'm Kyle.
I'm Tasha.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we're all going to be talking about sort of our hot takes / opinions about having tattoos and being professional. Kyle?
When it comes to tattoos in the workplace, for me, I don't really think that it should play a role, personally. You can have somebody who hasn't gotten a single tattoo in their entire life, and you have somebody who's covered head to toe. That plays no part in how well someone does in their job. It could be a doctor, for an instance. This guy could be covered in tattoos and could save someone's life compared to someone who's never had a tattoo and can't even hold a scalpel correctly. So I just think it's more of an old-timey thing with, like, no offense to them, but the Christian community that has been held as a standard throughout the years of history up until today, where they don't want to see that because it looks unprofessional, but that has nothing to do with someone's professionalism.
Yeah, I never quite understood why people think it's unprofessional to express yourself.
It's old people and Christians that are like, I think, just afraid because my mom was talking to me about this, that like back in the day, the only people who got tattoos were military men. So like people who had tattoos were inherently intimidating because they were just like harder people. And so old people have like held on to that and still think that is like an indication that you're like a scary, intimidating individual. But to me, and I feel this way about tattoos, clothes, whatever, like colored hair, the what's on my body does not affect my competency whatsoever. Like if I have weird clothes or colored hair or tattoos or whatever, it does not affect my ability to learn and then have that knowledge and then produce that knowledge in my work.
And I feel like the field that we're all trying to go into, we have a little more flexibility. Like employers are going to be a little less wary about it, but like people who are going into other fields, they have more of a hard time with that. But for me, it's like if someone else has a tattoo, it makes me more personable to them because I can start a conversation with them. Like just be like, oh, hey,
Yeah,
that's
they really
cool.
are just a conversation starter.
They really are. Like the first time I went to the doctor after I got my first tattoo, like she was like, oh, that's so cool. She's like, I have one. I immediately was like, okay, I like you like 10 times better now. I'm like, I'm more comfortable. Like I hate the doctor's office. It makes me so uncomfortable. But I'm like, okay, this is a person. Like she's normal. And I think it just, I don't know. And I think the meaning behind them, and even if it is just like art for creativity, no meaning behind it, I think it's still a conversation starter, and it's really not what people make it out to be.
Yeah, like my first tattoo was kind of a memorial piece from my grandma. It's the phases of the moon, and you know, when we were both younger, we used to just go sit outside every night and see what the moon looked like, and that was just like a conversation starter for us. And my dad, whenever he found out, got so upset with me because he saw that, and I was like, it's literally something I got because of your mother. My grandma, and I want to be able to look fondly back on those memories and have sort of like a permanent reminder. And it's also just to like not forget where I came from too.
To me, it's the same thing as like having a picture on the wall. I just choose to put the picture on my body instead of on the wall. But like my body is far more permanent than any housing situation I will be in. Like I don't know, but I also feel like the path is like your first tattoo is something like really special and really like a memorial, or just like there's a huge meaning behind it, and then like 3-4 tattoos in, you're like, whatever, it looks cool. Like
yeah. No, my first two were super meaningful to me, like end of the world meaningful, and then my third one that I'm getting this summer is just more like, oh, this is cute. But my favorite response when people are like, you realize you're going to be 80 years old with this tattoo? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be the most banging 80-year-old you've ever seen on the street. Like, do not play with me.
Well, no, because
I hate when people say that. Like, I know tattoos are permanent. I don't care. Like,
have you seen a picture of, like, older people
they
with,
look
like,
rad.
fully decked out? It's so cool.
They look so cool.
My
like,
grandmother has 2 tattoos, and they look amazing. I'm like, okay, queen. Like, that would be me.
Yeah.
No, see, I'm the oddball out here. I'm the only one here on this podcast that doesn't have a single tattoo. So
Why not?
Yeah,
get a tattoo.
I'm terrified of needles. That's my only
Okay.
reason.
That's
I
fair.
have plenty
So-
of ideas what I want to get, but I just haven't.
You just
got
got to tough it out. Okay, I'm terrified of
until I
needles.
pass out in the chair.
No. I'm
No,
so serious.
it's okay to pass out in the chair, though. It happens.
I was
If they
gonna
keep
say-
going, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm literally.
They will.
They will if you ask them. I'm not even lying to you. My first tattoo, I was like, I'm gonna pass out. I know it's gonna happen. Just like play it cool, you know? Like, don't worry about it. Like, I go to the doctor, I get the flu shot, I'm crying. I'm trying to avoid it. Like,
Oh,
my
I
mom
can't do
texts
that.
me every day. I'm like, Mom, I'm not going. Like, stop.
I got a Friday
Hate
the
needles.
13th, like, flash tattoo, which are, like, always smaller and really easy. but I got it like right here under my rib or under my boob, like on my ribs. And it's so small. It's only like this big. It's a donut. And I literally thought I was going to pass out, and I asked for a break, and he was like, this is going to take me 10 minutes. I'm 3 minutes in. You want a break? And I was like, yeah, dude.
Yes.
I feel like I'm going to pass out.
Please.
It felt like he was stabbing me in my bone. It's the worst. That is objectively the worst tattoo I've ever gotten. It hurts so bad. But
Plus, it's on the side too, because I also have one off to the side.
Yeah,
It's the way they have to lay
I want one
you
there. Y'all
and
are
kind
making me
of.
nervous.
No, they're not bad though. It's just they have to
Okay.
position you in a certain way to where like your skin is pulled to the most that it can be pulled to.
Yeah. Well, my first one was like right above my ankle, like right on my ankle.
That
Probably
hurts.
wasn't the best choice.
Yeah.
But
It's a lot of bone.
I literally, if you would have told me like literally 2 years ago that I would ever have a tattoo, I'd be like, no, I'm too terrified of needles. I've never really liked the way tattoos look. But then when my baby died, my dog, my mom's like, you should get a tattoo. And I was like, Kyle, don't laugh at me.
I'm not.
It's so rude.
Totally is.
I was trying not to cry.
But my mom's like, you should get a tattoo. And I was like, I can't. Like, I'll never do it. But I ended up doing it, and I had no regrets at all. And it was worth the pain. And that's what my mom told me. Is it not worth the pain? And I was like, all right, screw it. Put me in the chair.
Are you guys
like 10
worried to
times.
try to find a job with your tattoos? Because, like, personally, like, mine are kind of in spots where if I just wear, like, a long sleeve t-shirt or, like, a dressier shirt, like, I'll be okay. Like, I don't ever have any intentions of wearing, like, short sleeve shirts whenever I do, like, get into the industry.
my first couple tattoos, I put them in places where, like, I was just basically saying I would commit to wear long sleeve shirts for the rest of my professional life, because I really didn't think that I would ever get a job if I had tattoos. But I mean, like in specifically in our industry, like in media in general, I feel like the standards are sort of loosening up and people do have more tattoos now. But also, like, I have come to realize that I don't want to work at a place that's going to judge me based off my tattoos. Like, that is not a workplace environment that's going to be conducive to how I am best suited to work. So I'm not concerned, because I just think that they are becoming more acceptable. And if I find a place that it's not acceptable, then I obviously don't want to work there. However, like, I am coming from a place of privilege because I have, like, a bit of a buffer as far as jobs go. But then also places like McDonald's and Starbucks and stuff, like, truly don't give a hoot anymore about tattoos. No. So, like, you'll always have that backup plan if you're, like, struggling to find some sort of job.
Yeah. When I first, like, originally I wanted to be a journalist, I was like, it does not matter. I'm going to be sitting behind someone's desk. Like, I'm not going to broadcast. Like, they're not going to care. But now that I'm going to law school, I'm like, okay, it might matter a little bit more. But I think, like, placement-wise, like, I'm not going to be wearing anything that you can see any tattoos that I'll have, just because you got to be decked out. So
see, the ones I always want to get, whenever I do get them, I want to get them on my, like, wrist, up, like, forearm. Like, I want to get a sleeve one day if I do ever commit to that. And I feel like that's a problem when it comes into applying for the job, because once you get the job and you're in, like, you go through the interviews and everything and all that, like, you wear a long sleeve shirt, you make it through that process. Once you get in there, it doesn't really affect, like, you have the job now. And then all
Yeah, I
of a
mean,
sudden
they can't fire you because you have tattoos.
I wear a short sleeve shirt and they say, oh, you have a wrist tattoo. Like, yeah, man, I'm sorry about it. Like, and plus, where I want to go into broadcasting, I'm going to have to wear long sleeves and everything that I do. Like, there's no chance to wear a short sleeve shirt, so it doesn't really affect me in my career. But I feel like that's the biggest problem in the industry, is when people go to an interview and they have to wear a long sleeve to hide those things until they get the job. So it's like you're hiding your true self, and it's not fair to them when they're applying for a job.
I feel the opposite. I feel like if you have the tattoo, you should try to, in the interview, show it to see, like, if it's going to be a problem.
yeah.
Because they can't technically fire you for having a tattoo, but they can find other ways, like, for claiming that you're being late, or, like, not performing, like, whatever. Like, they can find other reasons. I feel like it would be smarter to just go into the interview with, like, 1 or 2 tattoos out. Be like, how, like, what's the vibe here? How are we feeling? I
wonder that too, though. Like, what do you do in that situation? Like, for me, when I had law school interviews, like, I had a really nice top I wanted to wear, and I'm like, maybe this tattoo is, like, too much. But then also at the same time, like, I'm gonna have them forever. I'm not always gonna come to class or, like, always go into a law office, like, dressed immaculately. So I was always worried about that, because I'm like, how do you even bring that up? Like, even in my day-to-day life, like, people I've been in class with for the last 2 years would be like, oh my God, I didn't know you had a tattoo right there. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm like, what if that happens in the workplace? Like, what would I do with that? Like, you have a tattoo.
I kind of agree with Bex on this one. I wouldn't really want to work at a place that fundamentally would shame me and my work or discredit my work, I guess, because of some ink. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like my work should be what shows my character, what I'm capable of doing. Getting ink has nothing to really do with that, in my opinion, but I've also never been in charge of, like, hiring before. So, I mean, that would be a different sort of perspective there.
No, I completely agree with you on that. I agree with you as well. Like, I worded it wrong, I guess is the way to say it.
Cancel Kyle.
Pretty much. I know that, like, you should do that, but I feel like everyone that's going into a job with the mindset they have, because most of your bosses are older and were not a part of this generation, so, like, that's what people are, like, known to do.
Yeah.
I don't think they should do that, but I think that's the expectations from a lot of people that are trying to find a new employee or employer.
I mean, the culture is definitely changing, though. When I was in 5th grade, I had a teacher who had, like, a ladybug tattoo on her foot that she was small, but she would wear a Band-Aid over it every day because the principal was like, you can't have, especially, like, in a job with kids, you can't have a tattoo. You can't show them
That's crazy.
that it's acceptable to get a tattoo. She had other tattoos that I didn't know about until I was much older, but, like, that was her only visible tattoo. She put a Band-Aid on every single day. Now, go into any elementary school, there's at least
They're covered.
there's at least 3 people in
Yeah.
there who have like several visible tattoos all the time. And that's just in the past like 10 years or so. I don't know, is that how long it's been since I was in 5th grade? But like,
God.
I know I'm super old. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, so the culture is changing. And especially like when you think about that is a job that works directly with children who people are so protective of for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So if the culture is changing, that tattoos are no longer a scary thing for children to see, maybe it's becoming better for other professions and other fields. I will say that my friend Taylor is a journalist and she refuses to get a tattoo because she thinks that it will affect her ability to be taken seriously. But I think that that's sort of an impacting, like, she's a woman, she's pretty, she like, and then if she adds tattoos on top of that, like, she's already struggling to be taken seriously just in general.
Yeah.
And then she adds a visible tattoo. God forbid it's something like cute and girly as well. Like that could, I don't think for her employers, but I think for people that she interviews, she does a lot of political writing as well. So she wants to be taken like extremely seriously, which makes sense. But I think that like it depends on the sort of media that you plan on doing. Like people who work for Bustle or The Cut or something almost certainly have tattoos. There's no way. People who work for BuzzFeed have tattoos, things like that.
It's all about the company.
Right. People who are on like the 7 o'clock news,
No.
they probably don't.
Right.
Or they don't have visible tattoos.
Yeah.
People who are doing political writing, no visible tattoos, which I hope will change. But I had to think about like what kind of job that I wanted and what kind of field I wanted to get into. And I realized that it wouldn't, I don't think it will matter if I have tattoos.
For
If it scares
me-
my boss, I don't really care. But
Yeah.
like,
Womp
Yeah.
womp. But yeah, for me, it's like the only thing I told myself, like, I put so much money into these tattoos. Like, obviously, like I said, they're both super meaningful to me. I will never cover them up. If I have to find, like, and I mean, like, clothing wise, yeah, I'll wear a long sleeve shirt. I don't mind that. But I'm never going to put makeup over it. I'm never going to wear a Band Aid over it. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get them to do that. And, like, there's some people, like, I had a friend, she's in broadcast news, and she's on TV and she has the most fine line tattoo I've ever seen on her arm. She covers it up with foundation every morning. And I'm
That's
like, what
absurd.
is the point?
Because
What is the point?
You're just sacrificing your personality.
I
at
say,
that
how are you going to
point.
spend that much money on the tattoo and then again on the makeup and then
Yeah.
also like cover, like you said, cover who you are. Like that is a part of your personality at this point. Like I'm obviously not defined by my tattoos, but like you said, like I put money, I put thought, I put energy. I like them.
Yeah.
And I enjoy talking about them with people. I enjoy having them. I smile whenever I see them. Like I don't want to cover that up for a job. That sucks.
Like my most recent tattoo is a reference to an old like MTV like 90s show. And I actually really love when people ask
so
me about
old.
it. Yeah, totally. Sorry, 2001 over here. Ouch. But no, like I love whenever people ask me about it because they're just like, "Oh, I remember that show." And I was like, "Yeah, like the odds are you do remember it. I just liked it a little bit more and I wanted
Now
it
I'm
on my
curious.
body."
What's the show?
It's Daria.
Never watched it.
Yeah, I've never
Okay,
heard of that either.
shout out
I
to
love
whoever wrote
Daria.
Daria. It's the best show ever.
I'm about to get an Amanda Bonds tattoo.
I really went so hard with my first couple like my very first tattoo is this one. It's a very long story, but I was a memorial for a friend of mine who passed away, so that was like very important. My second tattoo is of a fat cat with a mustache on my hip because it was $13 and I wanted it. My third tattoo is a
Iconic.
donut under my boob because it was $13 and I wanted it. Like I don't know, like this one means something to me because it's a reference to Little Women.
But
This
it
one
doesn't even have to have a meaning. It just be something
no,
you
I'm saying
enjoy.
like this one has something, this one has something, and this one has something. The rest of them are, oh no, this was something, but the rest of them are just like for fun, and I just think that they're fun, and I just like them, and I don't think they have to mean anything.
Yeah.
But don't judge me. Like look at my writing and then look at my body and tell me which one's more important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to change over time just because, like, the generations are changing, times are changing. So as these people grow up and they get their place in the workplace, even if they have to hide their tattoos while they're there, once they take that position as boss, that will completely change everything. It's just a matter of how long does it take for the majority of that to change? Like,
Once
is it
the-
going to be 40 years from now, or is it going to be in the next 5? Is it going to be
Once
in
the
the next month?
millennials become CEOs, it's over for everybody. Like
Yeah.
Can I just say also, like, literally, who cares about the old people? Like, why are we walking on eggshells around these
we
old
only
people?
care
I
about
don't
these old people
care.
because they're
Easy way to
rich.
word
Like,
that.
True.
No, honest to God,
Who
like,
cares about the old
every
people?
conversation. Okay, like I have grandparents, I love them to death, but they also don't judge me because I have tattoos. But like the old grumpy people, like why is everybody like our generation? Why are we all going out of our way to do something? No, I don't care.
No, I am
I
openly
genuinely don't
I am
care.
openly ageist. I don't care for old people. The only reason that anyone cares about old people is because they are rich and they are in
Yeah.
control of things.
But everyone's like, when you sit down and you're like, okay, tattoos in the workplace, everyone's like, genuine problem, old people. Why is
Yeah.
that the issue?
because
Like,
old people are the issue.
who cares?
And you heard it here
but, like,
first.
But
Shout
like,
out-
how many people go out of their way because like one population is I don't care. Like I'm gonna do what I want, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. Like that sucks. I don't know that. Maybe it's just in my personal life, but like the actual older people in my life, like they do not care about the tattoos.
Oh, my grandma
So I'm like,
loves my tattoos.
Okay, see, like
Y'all
my
are so privileged.
Oh, I am. I'll admit there. She's one of the cool like hippie
Yes,
like,
okay.
grandmas.
So both of my grandmothers, when I got my first tattoo, like nobody's really like a dog lover to the extent that I am. So they were all like, okay, that's kind of weird, but you do you. But when I got the one for my parents, both of my grandmothers were tearing up. They're like, that's literally insane. Like just like the connection you guys have, like the story. They were in love with it. Like probably more than my parents. Like they were literally both tearing up. And I was like, okay, so where are the old people who don't like tattoos?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Everywhere else.
But like if you just like talk to them about the tattoos, I feel like I just can't like understand how they
but they're
don't
already
like
It's
that.
making
just-
judgments right out the
Yep.
gate.
Yeah. But like, okay, that show you have on your arm that I'm unfamiliar with, like how many old people would be like, oh my God, I watched that, or like, oh my God, my kid loved that show.
Well, honestly, it says Six Sad Worlds, so they're probably gonna think I'm like really pessimistic.
yeah, I mean, I
but
don't
like
think
if
But
you
it is
talk
a
to them about the
reference.
right, like if you talk to them about like, okay, so you were talking to a professor about it one day, and you were like, oh, like this is a reference to whatever, and they were like, and I think they're a little bit older, but they were like, oh my God, I love that, and then you were talking about a certain character that like you related to like Pinterest board vibes, and she was obsessed. She was like, oh my God, like you're so her, this and that, and
Yeah.
like they talked about it for a couple minutes, and it was like, you know, like you just have to make that connection, I think.
I genuinely think that is an outlier experience and not the
Honestly,
common.
Okay, well,
I
I'm gonna
kinda
make
do
sure.
too
I'm gonna
still.
make sure at graduation that my grandparents come up to both of you guys and start chatting up your tattoos.
Please, I would love
I
that. I would
will.
love to have a conversation with old people about my tattoos because I think that they're great. But like I don't know, not even like just my family. My family doesn't like it. That's fine. I'm moving on. I
Yeah.
don't really care what they think. But like especially in my hometown, I'm weird because I have a lot of tattoos. Like I have 10 tattoos at this point. They're mostly very visible. And not a lot of people in my hometown have that. And every time, even if I try and say like, oh yeah, this one over here is for my dead best friend. And like this one is for when I didn't kill myself and I like overcame suicide thoughts. Like they don't
and they're like,
care.
why'd you put that on your body?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, why do you want to think about that all the time? Why did you think that was important? That's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. You're ruining your body. Like, this is God's temple that you're defacing. and even if they're not saying like this is God's temple that you're defacing, I genuinely think it's because all of their dads had tattoos and they were coming home from Vietnam and very angry and very mad, and like they just have such an association with like such a negative connotation that like it doesn't matter that my dead best friend was important to me and I wanted to put his name on my body. It doesn't matter that like something really traumatic happened to me and I got a tattoo to like remind myself how powerful and strong I am. Like these are good things for me to be reminded of every day. And they don't. I mean, they will. And I don't think that most old people will care.
Yeah. Well, and everyone thinks that they have to take like a position, like either the like extreme negative or like the super, like I've never met someone when I'm like tattoos, thoughts, and they're just like, I don't really care. Like they're either like super strongly like with tattoos or super strongly against it. And I'm like, if I don't want something, then I'm not going to get it. That doesn't mean I'm going to sit around a table and be like, you guys are horrible for getting a tattoo.
It doesn't affect you in any way. It's like, I don't understand that either. I think that a lot of it to do is with like, it's just geographical diversity, like the way you were raised, the way that their parents were brought up before them. And that kind of like, it falls into the workplace, obviously, but that just comes on like, my whole family doesn't care if I got one, besides one person. That's my uncle, and he's real hard-nosed, grew up in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, and doesn't have a single tattoo, says it's unprofessional, says if I ever got one, that it would be the worst decision I ever made. And, like, both of my tattoo plans are one's going to be for my mother, and then the other's going to be for my best friend who passed away. Like, those are my two things that I plan on doing if I do ever go through with them.
I'm going to take you.
Yeah.
Graduation present.
Okay, well, I'm not rich. I just feel like
no, he'll pay for it. We'll just go with it.
Yeah, I'll strap you down to make sure you get it.
My eyes roll back into my head
It's okay.
so ungodly fast.
Honestly, the first like minute is rough because you're getting used to the feeling, but after it doesn't even like.
Okay, if you have
register.
siblings and you've ever gotten into a physical altercation with them, a tattoo is nothing.
It's not like, it's not about
nothing.
It's not about the pain. The pain's not the part I'm worried about. It's the physical thought. Like I have a phobia of being stabbed, so if I get blood taken, I'm fine for the first 5 seconds.
I can't do that.
That's
I'm
fair.
fine. I get through it, and then it's the thought of it being inside of my skin, and then I just drop every time.
With the placement of mine, I could watch. Sorry, with.
You're killing me.
I'm actually the little kid at the table. I'm so sorry. What I was gonna say with the placement of mine, I couldn't even look at the needle, so that was like super strong for me.
Yeah.
My best friend had a Netflix show going for me, and I was like, okay.
That's the thing. Like I don't even see like if you watch them prep, you see the needle, but if you don't watch them prep, you don't see the needle. And my first couple tattoos at this point, honestly, I like it. I think
She's like, let me see.
I like it. It feels good. But the first couple times, like I just kind of sat there with my eyes closed and like did some deep breathing, and they like got everything prepped. And then once the actual, because my first one was right here, so I could see everything happening on my forearm, but like you don't really see the needle. If it's the thought, I understand that is bad, but like you don't actually see what's going on. And to me, it just kind of feels like a long bee sting.
Yeah,
Literally,
I don't like getting stung by bees.
During my tattoo appointment, we were playing 21 questions. Like he was asking the most like obscure questions while I was getting tattooed, and it made it fly by. That's for sure.
You definitely come across the person who's like, oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, no, I mean like I was really just like there, like vibing. We were having like some good conversations, and I mean. It went by. I think I was there for like 3 hours for my most recent one, which was kind of a lot, but it's collared, so that's why it took so much
3 hours
longer.
is crazy.
Well, because we had.
I mean, it's not, but it's like I've just
I
never.
think mine was 3 hours.
Oh yeah, I never thought about the time.
That's the thing is that like I have a lot of tattoos. None of them have taken more than like 30 minutes. I have cute little guys, and
we actually worked on my piece together. Like I was like, okay, this TV show, yeah. This is the logo for the TV show within the TV show. Can we make this look pretty and leave out some of the coloring? Because like one of the colors are primarily like this really dark green, which I'm not against. But then it's this kind of baby puke green that kind of goes along with like the dark like 90s sort of grunge-esque stuff that Daria was. And I was like, I cannot deal with the peach. I cannot deal with that green. That green is ugly. I do not want that on my body.
My most recent tattoo, it was drawn by my best friend. We had to do like a couple little edits to it because drawing versus tattoos is different. But he's never seen it before, and he's coming to graduation, and I cannot wait to show him and see him like in person for the first time.
serious ending question. Can we all go get a tattoo together? Because I'm
Yes.
planning on getting one this
Okay.
summer.
Literally, yes.
Hold on. I'm planning on getting one this summer. You guys could come down and see me. We could do a little tattoo appointment. I've never
Like,
gotten a tattoo by myself.
Don't
ever.
joke around with me.
I'm not even joking. Like, please come.
In
Girl, we
July.
have to do it asynchronously. I'd be working.
Baby girl, Hilton Head, you can stay there for free with me.
It's 9 hours. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be
Who's
fine.
driving?
Me. Hello. I love
Okay.
driving.
Carpool, save the environment. You don't have to buy a hotel. That's the best deal I've ever heard.
I'm like not even joking with you. I'm planning on being homeless in July and just kind of like floating from friend to friend.
You're floating down
I
south,
will
and we're
come to
getting
see
a
you.
tat.
And we're gonna
Done.
tattoo.
Honestly, that
Done.
sounds like such a fun fucking life.
Let's
such a fun
do
life
it.
experience.
And we can make Kyle. We'll force him. We'll all
Yeah,
strap him down.
No,
Yes,
I'm
yes,
good.
yes.
Y'all got it. Y'all have a blast. I'm fine.
You'll love my tattoo artist. He's super country.
Okay.
listens-
Yeah.
You'll relate to him.
He listens to country music
favorite
like really
person.
loudly. He's very nice.
Awesome.
He
Yeah.
goes to Duke. He's super smart. You can just chat it up the entire time. You won't even know you're getting a tattoo.
Fun fact: Tasha didn't know a single country song until after she met me.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's the wildest theory I've ever
It's
seen.
a
in my
little
life.
directed.
Didn't know a single one, but besides that,
Now I do.
my first tattoo that I plan on getting, it's going to be a lot of shading, so that's also why I'm nervous to get it. If I do
This
get it, 'cause
summer,
it's
late July, Kyle's getting his first
No, like, I
tattoo.
literally-
You heard it here, folks.
I want to get a tattoo for school. I don't necessarily want to commemorate Marshall, but I do want to, like, I've been
But
working
the
on
hard work you put
I've
in.
been working on my bachelor's degree for
Yeah.
11 years. I'm getting that
You
put
deserve
on my
it.
body somehow. Like,
But it will not be anything related to Marshall.
no,
I will
no.
not let you.
That's fine. No.
Okay.
I want to get a pencil, I think, like right here.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
cute.
Stop. That would be cool.
Yeah, so I'll see you in July.
Okay, perfect. I love this. This was so productive.
I'm terrified.
We'll come kidnap you.
I know. This is such an interesting group to vacation with, too. I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be so much fun. I'm actually like, this is happening.
I'm not playing.
Oh, I'm not either. I'm so dead
Group
serious.
tattoo
I-
time.
Why not take advantage of where I live? Like,
I'm like, if I can
only
stay at
have
your
so
house
many years. That's what I'm saying. I only have so many years left before my parents are like, all right, queen, like,
Get out.
it's time to start stepping. They can only put up with so many more friend groups. I'm like, let's go, guys.
Well, thanks everybody for being here and spreading their opinions about this. I hope the perception of this changes
Me too.
soon because I think they're still great conversation starters.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Bria.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Mwah.